Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all can be with us. Going to bring in our friends over on IG so they can be a part of our conversation for today. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. Have a great guest that's joining us for the very first time here on Cyrus Webb Presents to talk about his brand new book you guys can see here. We're now live on the Amazon side with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Going to type you guys in a welcome message over there. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see the book by our next guest. Excited to welcome Cousin Colby to our broadcast today. He's the author of the book you guys can see there, Hidden Superpower. We have it in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle. You all can be able to get your copy. I read this book in less than a week, Cousin Colby, and it's so fascinating how you're able to share so much of your story. We're going to talk to him about that, but also what he hopes you as readers are able to take away from it as well. Cousin Colby, thank you so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Cyrus, I appreciate the opportunity, man. It's an honor.
Well, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I want to begin with where we are now because here we are in 2026. You've lived a lot of life, Cousin Kobe, up until this point, and that life is continuing. What was it like for you to reflect on the highs and lows as you were writing Hidden Superpower?
I think during the journey for me, it was. Now I look back on it, it's kind of fascinating because this whole journey of me writing the book, it took about 8 years, and
Oh, wow.
I was like, I got it. No, I don't have it. Some more life happened. All
Mhm.
types of things was like I felt like kind of distracted me from actually finishing or completing this accomplishment for me. And one of the things that I just didn't know at the time of writing the book, I knew what the title was. I had the vision for the cover. I had all these ideas, and but things really didn't come together in probably the last 2 years for me. And
Wow.
and all the things that I've been through started to make sense. Started to make sense that, oh, the hidden superpower is not necessarily um finding self or or searching for something. Like the power is with you the entire time. And
Yeah.
a lot of things that I overlooked, which you've probably found out, was like forgiveness. I
Mhm.
overlooked that the entire time. I didn't know that that was something that I needed to, unforgiveness I needed to give up.
Mhm.
I didn't know that it was something I needed to do or
Mhm.
find or search or look for. And it just started with, all right, kind of looking inside and like, what else? What is it missing? What is it missing? And the book is kind of in reflection to who I am. And I found forgiveness like anybody else would reading the book.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up the title because as a reader, and I tell people this is the interesting dynamic of someone who reads a lot of books, and I've loved books all my life, Cousin
Mhm.
Colby, is that a lot of times we as readers, depending on where we are, we do seem to take things sometimes out of things we read that the writer didn't even expect.
Right.
But what I thought about is you just mentioned the title of the book, Hidden Superpower, is the other side of that. And I automatically, of course, think about Superman because everybody thinks about Superman, right?
Mhm.
And we think about his nemesis, which would be kryptonite. I want to talk about the way you addressed your kryptonite in the book before we
Mhm.
get to the superpower, because
Sure.
the things that could have destroyed you,
Mhm.
like the way that your peers treated you, the way that you were looked at, the way you looked at yourself,
Mhm.
dealing with grief, dealing with family dynamics.
Mhm.
Those things could any one of those things could have taken you out, could have shut you
Okay.
down. What do you think helped you not to let that happen?
I think the biggest thing, man, I got to give credit to God because I often have conversations with friends and they're like, man, I just don't know how, like, because when you come from a certain background, you're almost by default wired a certain way. It's
Mhm,
like, oh, if everybody else is going to jail or prison, it's like, what is your fate? You're around, birds of the same feather flock together, and this is your environment. And the way I kind of navigated through those things or avoided those things, like, man, it was all God. Like that, I
mhm.
take no credit. The way my life turned out wasn't supposed to be,
Yeah.
and it was by his design only that things didn't happen in the worst way for me, because it wasn't like I wasn't um participating or acting out on my hurt or my pain. I was
Mm,
fully in it and fully aware, but God had other plans.
yeah. We sit here now, cousin Colby, 20 years after the death of your brother. One of the things that you talk about in the book, and we see it, the way you address it in the book, and then we see also the way you write about it as well in the latter part of the book. Did you know going into the book that his death and Marcus' life would be such a pivotal part of your transformation that was also you embracing your superpower?
No, no. Because for me, like, man, when you go through that pain, Cyrus, when you go through multiple situations that, like, oftentimes through life, things happen to us, right?
Mhm.
Especially if you consider yourself to be a decent person or a good person, like
Right.
things happen to you, and so you don't think in a way like, oh, I need to look at it in a different light because it happened to you. Like you're almost the
Mhm.
victim of it, right? And for me, that's the mindset I left with. I'm the victim. This is not fair. This is not right. And then after Marcus, it was my brother Andre. And then I even like trauma compound. So I
Right.
didn't heal from Marcus. Now I got to deal with the grieving and the loss of Andre. And
Yeah.
then and I don't have time for it. I'm too busy. Then my dad. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm too busy to focus on it now. Just go to work, and things will get better, especially in our
Right.
community. We don't talk about grief or loss or in that way. There's so many superstitions around it. We don't focus on those things. You just kind of move on, and there's no blueprint in a sense to kind of deal with loss or grief. So everything just started to compound for me. And then my brother Antoine, I just kept moving or surviving in a sense. And
Yeah.
one thing, I was not aware that this would be something that I would really have to face or know that, you know what, this is going to help me. What happened to me was a part of the design, and it guided me to what, like oftentimes we think what happened to us happened against us, but
Mhm.
actually what happened to me happened for me. but I
Yeah.
but it's hard to be in that mode or be in
Right.
that moment or that situation and think that, you almost kind of have to, you got to get some therapy, you got to go through the motions, you got to become self-aware, you got to learn that, you know what, there's something greater outside of this hurt or this pain. And I
Mhm.
just kind of learned that time and time again. And it gave me the motivation and the push to share this story.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to that, cousin Kobe. I want to say hello to Michael Wilkerson, who's joining us over on Amazon. Thank you so much for the follow over there on IG. I appreciate you, the gentleman's man. So glad you could join us over there on IG. Short Story Maven, hello to you as well. Want to reset real quick and say for those who are just tuning in, welcome to you guys over there on YouTube. You guys are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. Cousin Kobe is joining us today. He's the author of this book you guys can see here, Hidden Superpower. For you guys joining us on the Amazon side, you'll see you can get it in hardcover like I have it here. You can get the Kindle edition, start reading it right now, or you can get the paperback as well. We're talking to cousin Kobe not only about where he is today, but also what it was like for him to address some of the aspects of his life that now all of us can read and be able to learn from. You mentioned something that I want to go back to, cousin Kobe, because I think this is a very powerful thing. Because I think the other side of what you've done in this book is shown going to the other side. I mentioned kryptonite earlier. I want to talk about now this the superpower. And
Mhm.
one of those superpowers that you just alluded to is vulnerability. We as men, though, we don't always see it as that, or it takes us some time to get to that. When did you realize the strength of that, of being vulnerable, of actually saying what you were feeling, and how that has helped you, but also those now that you're talking with?
I think that was one of those things that I learned during therapy. I knew I needed to go to therapy because what I learned with trauma, what happens is like, and I was one of those people that I like to think that I had this sharp memory, but certain things because of trauma, like my mind was like blocking these things out. Certain memories I would have with my kids. My wife would be like, "Hey, you remember this?" And I'm like, "I don't remember that." Right.
Mm,
And it's because trauma is like kind of blocking these things away. And
yeah.
in therapy, I started to learn like, hold on, like, oh no, it's okay and it's a safe place and it's healing to be
Yeah.
vulnerable, like it gives you almost this, like, I don't know, this edge, or I guess superpower. It gives you something bigger than what you had, because now you're so aware of the things that um you are sensitive to, the
Yeah.
things that may bother you, that you usually just put in your backpack and live through life and never address it again. It just helped me in so many ways learn that, tag, like, that's not okay.
Mm,
Just because you came from that, and you've accepted it, doesn't mean that it's right, and that's not okay. So, like, vulnerability, I learned it through therapy. Therapy helped me so much find like certain moments and make it safe, because it's kind of trendy, Cyrus. We're in an era where people, oh, we need a safe place, and we
yeah.
want to be in. But I think safe places are the places that you create,
Yeah.
that you accept to be okay. All right, I'm going to talk about this because it's important to me, and it may inspire somebody else. Nipsey Hussle said, one of the most powerful gifts in the world that you could share is inspire
Mhm.
somebody,
Yeah.
so for me, it's like, man, I got to tell this story, and ultimately it's a testimony, but I got to share this story because someone else might be struggling and they don't
Yeah.
know how to get through or navigate through their situation because they don't have a blueprint. Here goes the blueprint.
It was their blueprint. Whitney Houston, Cousin Kobe, has that song, "I Didn't Know My Own Strength."
Mm,
Did you feel like that too when you were writing this book? That because again, as I mentioned earlier, there are so many people that just one of the events that you chronicle in Hidden Superpower would have been the end for them.
yeah.
Did you have that feeling of, wow, I didn't realize I was strong enough to overcome and come through this, and this?
Cyrus, like, oftentimes I only realize that when I speak to people like you or friends or people who read the book. Like, I only realize it then, right?
Mm,
It's not because I wear it. I wear it every day.
yeah.
It's not a day. My dad used to say this. He's like, man, it's not a day I don't think about y'all. It's not a day
Mhm.
I don't think about the deaths of my sons. Like, he would share that, and
Yeah.
it's to this day, like, it's not a day that like I don't take things for granted. Like, I really take my time with things, and I just kind of realized that when people share those things with me, I realized that, you know what, like, oh man, that was a heavy load to carry.
Mhm.
That was a strong place to be in. But because I survived it, I don't. It's hard for me to say, but I don't know how to feel it in the moment, because I was just surviving, and I don't think I was aware at any point that
Mm,
I was just surviving. I just knew that I had to continue on, because if I if I allowed myself to give up, then that means I forfeited the legacy. I
yeah.
forfeit anyone who comes behind me. I would share with people all the time when I travel and speak. I would say, who you are today, you give somebody else permission to be. You
Yeah.
know, so if you don't take care of your life in a way that is um, um, inspiring other people, then what will happen is your mediocre or your average will become someone's like destiny,
Mhm.
and you just have to be aware of that. And so my life is not my own, and I just kind of realized, all right, this is how I have to move forward, because if I only focus on my own strength, right, like, I'm man, life is hard.
Yeah.
I may not succeed, so I have to look at what other people see in me. So when other people see that, man, you got through this, you got through that, and they're consulting with me about different things that I survived through, it becomes like, okay, all right, it's motivation for me. It's like a pat on the back for me to
Mhm.
move forward and continue to go.
Love that. You mentioned surviving, and I think for especially for a lot of us guys, cousin Colby, that becomes the thing, right? It's about survival. I want to talk to you about now what it's like because I felt like in reading Hidden Superpower that so much of your life was that, but what is it like for you now to actually be enjoying life? And the reason why I make the distinctions because when you're in survivor mode all the time, you can't really be enjoying the present and enjoying where you are and kind of, what who you become. What is it
Right.
like for you now to be on the other side of just living to survive, to actually living life that you can appreciate and be proud of?
Man, that's a phenomenal question. This season I'm in now, like I could really like sometimes as a man, being a husband, being a father, being a son, a brother, like you can get to a place, especially when you come from like a hard place.
Mhm.
Like you can get to a place where you're surviving so much that you become like a nuisance to people around you, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like, oh, I'm just protective, but it
Yeah.
shows up to them as fear, or it
Yeah.
shows up to them as you're paranoid and things like that. So being in this place, like um I can really kind of like not care about certain things. It's like in a sense where I would care about, oh, I can't do that because they might see my family or they might do this. And you start to create your own enemies or your
Yeah.
own opposition because
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you so worried about these things. But now I can live. It's like it doesn't matter. Like the protection that you need don't come from you. It comes from God. It comes from
Yeah.
a higher source. So the protection and then God keeping you, that's all that matters. But now knowing that I can have the moments with my wife and not have to worry about having the expectations that something is going to happen or post my kids or share like meaningful thoughts or meaningful moments and not have to worry about the things that survival like feared me into believing, so I just think like that's the enjoyment now. It kind of takes you out of the because Cyrus, it almost become a prison,
Yeah.
because you
Right.
like you're so, oh no, I don't want to go down this street because what happened down that street 20, 30 years ago. Like
Mhm.
you start to live your life with all these guides and these rails, and you just kind of gotta be like, you know what, I just trust you, God. I just trust you. And
Mhm.
and whatever happens is going to happen, but I know that you got my best interest at heart. So now I can live life in that place and know that you know what, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. You now using your platform. I have to be honest with you, cousin Coben. I was thinking about this when I finished the book. It was funny. I'm like, how did I even find this guy? you know, I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I remember, I saw
Mhm,
a post on Instagram,
mhm.
and me being the nerd that I am, I headed over to Amazon and just bought the book. Just seeing the post,
Yeah.
and after I read it, I thought I've never had any communication. What I'm saying with this guy. you know, how do
Yeah.
I mean, how does that feel to have strangers? I guess that's
Yeah.
well, I was gonna get to the question, who don't know you, now being able to read your words, read your
Yeah.
stories, see your journey to thriving, and now to be able to tell you how much it impacted them.
It's like it's funny because like, man, oftentimes as a man, like you try not to like cry in front of people, things like that.
Mhm.
So the shower is my place to cry, right? And have my moments with God, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, well, in the past 2 years, 3 years, man, I'm in the shower and I'm like, God, just allow this thing to bless people.
Yeah.
Allow this story to impact people. Allow this story to touch people. This is not about me. This is not about me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on the cover, right?
Yeah.
It's ironic to say that. But it's like, this isn't about me. This is about people understanding that their pain is not a death sentence. You
Mhm.
know, like it's empowering, but we just have to figure out whatever your algorithm is. We have to figure out that algorithm. So to answer your question, man, this is something I prayed for,
Gotcha.
right? And I'm a true believer. God only connect me with his people. He
Uh-huh.
only connect me with his people. His like I'm a black sheep, so he connect me with other black sheep. So
Wow.
when you made the connection, it was like I knew God was sending. I
Exactly.
like and oftentimes this is one of the reasons why I go by cousin Colby, because it's like we family. You know,
Yeah.
like anytime I'm having conversations with people, we become family. People start sharing stuff with me that I asked for, and then they'll get to a point where they're like, you know what, I don't know why I shared all that with you. And it's so funny, but it's like, it's the godliness that's happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's the church in the moment. So
Yeah.
for me, man, this is something that I prayed for, man.
Right.
I knew I had these moments with God, and I'm like, God, allow your people to like, draw to this, because this message is designed to impact your people. That's it.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
about me. So
Mhm.
that's how we got here, man.
Yeah. What it's so funny you just said that, which I had no idea you were gonna say. I was watching a video this morning, Cousin Kobe, with Lauren LaRosa talking about the Breakfast Club going on
Mhm.
Netflix starting today.
Mhm.
And she literally said in that video, "I am living answered prayers." That's what she
Mm.
said. And, she said, this is exa she said the exact same thing, "This is what I, prayed for." And so I think what this book also will do for people, Cousin Kobe, is, for one, let them know they're not by themselves, and
Right.
that the very things that could have broken them could be
Hmm.
just what they need to reinforce who they are.
Yep.
And I think, having someone like you being able to share your story so openly and letting people know you can get to the other side will not only give people hope, but also I think give them that reinforcement they need, because difficult times will still come, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yep.
letting them know, hey, you got through this, you can definitely be able to get through that next thing. So I want to ask you in the final question, what is your hope when people pick up Hidden Superpower for themselves? What do you hope the book does for them when it comes to not only sharing your story, but also meeting them where they are?
I hope like that thing that people have buried inside of them, because one thing I learned through this journey was that I started to see, like, God gave me the vision to see people hurt, but I can't intrude, right?
Mm,
So I could see like, and this is how my grace kind of elevated for people. The whole turn the other cheek. Where I come
yeah,
from, you hit me in the face, I gotta hit you back, right?
yeah, yeah,
but now I truly understand, like, oh, it's just not them hitting you in the face, right? It's the mountains, it's the years, it's the centuries, it's the decade, it's the inheritance of pain that's been coming down, and you just become the villain for the moment, right?
yeah,
So I hope that anyone who pick up hidden superpower, not only do they find their hidden superpower, but they open up their hearts and pull that thing that no longer serves them out.
mhm,
Just that thing that no longer serves. And I think many of us have it in, I won't say all of
yeah,
us, but many of us have it in us, that one thing that stops you from having a conversation with a friend, foe, or family member, whatever. Like that one thing that you were so hurt from, that kept you in that place, that creates the fear that you now walk with as an adult, and this happened to you when you were a child. I hope like it just opens up that wound and allow you to release that wound, in a way where you can elevate, like unconsciously, unlimitedly, or limitlessly. Like I want to see like people elevate because they didn't know that thing, that one thing, like I did. They didn't know that one thing was holding them back the whole time, and that's
yeah.
what was happening with me.
It's a powerful thing, man. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk again. Everyone, Cousin Kobe has been our guest. The book is Hidden Superpower, out now on Amazon, and you can get the hardcover, paperback, or the Kindle edition. Cousin Kobe, really appreciate this time, man. Congratulations again. Let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
So on all platforms, you can find me at Cousin Colby. That's where on any platform, Facebook, TikTok, or any platform, Cousin Colby, at Cousin Colby, and then or my website at cousincolbyinspire.com.
Love it. Well, man, looking forward to staying connected with you, man. Looking forward to our next chat together.
All right,
And we
likewise.
thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, y'all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.